Hello and welcome to Music at the Piano. Today we're going to explore the Minuetto Allegretto by Alexander Reinagle. It is his Opus 1 number 17 in D major. The first video clip will be of me playing it while the score is showing. The second video clip will be of me discussing the harmonic analysis of it, or the harmonic structure. So you'd want to know your D major scale and the chords in D major. And then the third clip will be the solfège of the right hand and some ways of using that to help you learn the piece or memorize the piece. The fourth clip is me playing it again with a keyboard view. And the final clip will be the Reinagle Minute. So I hope you enjoyed this video and find it useful. This is the Reinagle Minuetto Allegretto. It's number 17 in his Opus 1. The first thing I want to talk about is the chord structure here in this piece, because he does some interesting secondary dominants. And those are the places where your students are likely to have a little trouble learning it and or memorizing it. So in the third bar, let me go back. So D major scale, and you'd want to go over the 1 chord, which is D, F sharp, A, the 4 chord, which is G, B, D, and the 5 chord, which is A, C sharp, E. In addition to that, he employs the 6 chord, which is B, D, F sharp, and the 2 chord was E, G, B. And over here, he takes that 2 chord, and by changing the 3rd chord factor from G to G sharp, he turns it into the 5/6, or the first inversion of the 5 chord of the 5, because the 5 chord is A, and the dominant of A is E, so then this becomes an E major chord in first inversion. That's interesting. Then over in the second half here in measure 13, 14, 15, 16, 15 and 16, he does something similar. He turns this 3rd beat of measure 15 from, by using the G sharp, it's the 5 of 5 going to the 5. So there's a temporary tonicization of the dominant chord here, and then he pops right back into D major. And then over here you've got a minor 2/7 chord, E, G, B, D. That's interesting. So that's for if you want your students to understand how he built it, and as a teacher, what elements he's introducing to the students that weren't there before. These secondary chords, the 2 and the 6, and turning some secondary chords into secondary dominants. The next thing I want to talk about is the solfège of the right hand. This is a kind of complicated thing maybe, or advanced thing to do with solfège, but as a teacher you might want to do it for yourself, and you might want to work with your student. But I wouldn't try having your student do it until you yourself have mastered it, because there's some complexity here. But it is easier to learn the music or to memorize the right hand if you've done the solfège. So I'm going to have to skip octaves because I don't have that great of a range. And I'm going to play it along with myself too, so I don't make too many mistakes and have to rewind and redo the video. So mi, re, fa, mi, and my rhythm might not be so great either. When you're doing the solfège, if you're trying to remember something, you give yourself a little leeway in the rhythm. Mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, 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 do. Re, mi, re, do, ti, la, ti, so, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, do, ti, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. Let me try that one more time. Mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, 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 do. Re, mi, re, do, ti, so, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, do, ti, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. Mi, fa, mi, re, do, so, so, la, so, so, fa, mi, fa, mi, re, do, re, so, mi, so. And then you could either go fi, re, so, or you could enjoy the temporary tonicization and go ti, so, do, knowing that you have modulated to A major, but now you go back to D major. La, 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 so, la, ti, do, fa, mi, so, mi, do, so, la, so, la, ti, do, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. Mi, fa, mi, re, do, so, so, la, so, fa, mi, fa, mi, re, do, re, so, mi, so, fi, re, so, la, so, la, ti, do, fa, mi, so, mi, do, so, la, so, la, ti, do, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. For the very advanced students, mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, 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 re, mi, re, do, ti, so, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. Mi, fa, mi, re, do, so, so, la, so, fa, mi, fa, mi, re, do, oh, re, so, mi, so, fi, re, do, so, la, so, la, ti, do, fa, mi, so, mi, do, so, la, so, la, ti, do, la, so, do, re, do, ti, do. And I'm not taking the repeats because I'll for sure make a mistake on the repeats. So those are some things that you could do with solfège. But again, do not expect your student to try this until you yourself have mastered it. You could also, never mind, I don't find the left hand that interesting as far as solfège is concerned, but you could also do that. And if you're able to do this, you can figure that one out. Hello and welcome to today's Reinagle Minute. where we will learn what Reinagle's earliest experiences in Philadelphia were all about. But first we have to, first I have to ask your indulgence, as I referred to my notes, which were a bit messy. We need to go over the cast of characters that helped him out. So probably the most important person that he worked with in Philadelphia, getting started with, was the French guitarist and impresario Henry Caprone. And according to Peter Danner, who wrote in Notes on Some Early American Guitar Concerts, Danner notes that Caprone had performed in Paris in 1768 at the Concert Spirituel, which was sort of a high-end concert series, so he was well regarded in Paris. But by 1785, he had immigrated to the United States, where he set himself up as an impresario and also teacher and a performer. He managed subscription concerts to benefit himself and the musicians that performed with him. Let's see, what else is there about him? Well, he performed on a particular type of guitar that was popular in the day. Then the other people to note are the American flute player William Brown. He was an 18th century American composer, music publisher, and flutist. He was active in New York and Philadelphia, and he also composed a piece entitled 3 Rondos for the Pianoforte or Harpsichord, which was published in 1787. It is the first keyboard work that was published in the United States. Perhaps not necessarily the first keyboard work written, but the first keyboard work published. It helped that he was a publisher. And the other American musician was Alexander Juhan, Juhan, who lived from 1765 to 1845, thought to have been born in Charleston, South Carolina, but moved to Philadelphia in 1783. He worked with Reinagle and Brown and Caprone from 1786 to 1794. He was a violinist, a composer, and a conductor, and he was one of the first American composers working in the United States. So shortly after Reinagle did not succeed in New York, but although that was probably where he met Caprone, he wasted no time in getting to Philadelphia, and Caprone actually hosted him on his own concert. So on September 21st, 1786, Reinagle appeared on Henry Caprone's benefit concert, and these are called benefit concerts, but I'm pretty sure they were for the benefit of the people giving the concerts. And the concert followed the pattern of London's musical concerts because Caprone was in charge of that, where there was a first half of the concert and an intermission and a second half of the concert. 3 weeks later, Reinagle sponsored his own benefit concert at the City Tavern. The City Tavern in Philadelphia at that time was the concert venue. And his benefit concert followed the Edinburgh model that we talked about in other videos, where there were 3 parts and 2 intermissions, and it included music from the previous era in addition to music of the day. So on Reinagle's concert, he included music by earlier composers Joseph Haydn, who had been very popular in England when he was there, and the Italian composer Arcangelo Corelli. And he also included music of his own composition, which were sonatas, his piano sonatas, and he performed them on his pianoforte, which was a still fairly new instrument for colonial American audiences. They were used to hearing the harpsichord. By the next month, in October of 1786, Reinagle was collaborating with all those other people I mentioned, the 3 local musicians, William Brown on flute, Henry Caprone on cello, and Alexander Juhan on violin. And Reinagle followed, when he was in charge of these concerts, he followed the Edinburgh model of the concert situation. And together they sponsored a series of 12 bi-weekly concerts, which often showcase the piano, of course. So that's it in a nutshell. And they eventually did go back to New York. I think after they made a name for themselves in Philadelphia, they also had performed in New York. And there is more to tell about his life in America. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And please like and subscribe, as it helps get these videos out to a wider audience and people who might benefit from them. Thank you again. Bye-bye.